Alright, bit of a quirky angle. You're on a gorilla pod today because I don't know where my other tripod is. I've just come back from holiday, so I'm a little bit disorganised, but enough about that. This is what you're here to see, the 3, or the Oneplus 2. Now the only thing I know about this is everything, because I've been reading up on it for quite a while, but I've not actually held it, touched it, felt it, seen what it's like. I'm going to compare it to the iPhone 6 Plus, just an initial impression. I'm not just going to show you what you get in the box and all that. I'm just going to be like, get it, feel it, have a bit of a, you know, just compare it. One of the things that really bugs me about this iPhone 6 Plus is it's massive. And I know that most phones are big, but I don't know, it's just the bezels, or it's an awkward 5.5-inch phone. The Note 3 that I had wasn't as awkward to hold, so I'm hoping with this one, with a 5.5-inch screen, will be nicer and easier and better to do. Anyway, enough about me and my ugly head. Let's get on with opening it and having a genuine first impression from me, having never felt the thing. Moving on. Oh, and something else to mention as well. This is the 6 Plus, right? This camera in this case is flush. Come on, focus, you bugger. Tap to focus if I can. Right, so this case is flush. Even with the camera bump, it's flush. And see that? That's a bent phone. So what you have to do in this particular instance is twist it back. Now, I can't show you it without it being in the case because it's got a camera bulge, obviously. There. So when I've twisted it, like I just did then, I have to put it back in its case. It's still a bit bent. Oh, it's still bent. Anyway, point being is, they bend. Be careful with them, alright? So, main event. Oh, this is terribly close up. Damn you, Gorilla Pod. Work. Right. Pretty sure. Someone over here. I've got a knife back on it. So, I'm not going to use it. Let's do something. Right. Here we go. Never settle. Tell you what, I should just look at it instead of looking through the viewfinder of the camera. Ooh, premium feeling. Now that is quality. I'm quite impressed with that. Let's have a look at the bend phone next to it. Look at it, it's reflecting an apple because it doesn't want to not be an apple. Very similar thing, but feels a little bit lighter. It's nice. You know, I like the fact that the camera's flush. I hate the fact that people make this bulge. Why do you do it? Why don't you just make the phone a bit thicker with a bigger battery? Just, you know, to save a millimetre or two. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm happy with that. It's good. So now it's been about a week since I've had this, and I've been playing with it quite a lot. A couple of observations I've been making, or I've made recently, is that it's alright, but it's not what I was expecting. By that I don't mean it's rubbish, by a long way. We are talking about something that's pretty cheap. The hardware, exceptionally well made, but I feel that the software, I think this Oxygen OS, it just doesn't feel polished, it doesn't feel ready to be out yet, according to me. You've got a 3,300 milliamp hour battery, and it's at 64% now, and we're on 3:45 in the afternoon. I've not really used it that much, to be honest, and it just feels like it drains fast. The iPhone's got a smaller battery, and it will pagger this in battery usage. If you don't go on this and stand by, you can get to late afternoon and still be in the 90%. The standby annihilates the standby on this. Now this isn't going to be a comparison of sort of like, oh, Apple's better, oh, he's got a Mac and he likes his iPhones. I like the device, I wanted to love it. The dual SIM in it is something I've always wanted. I love the home screens, you can put things where you want, obviously the Android side of it, but it just feels just a little bit dull. I'm used to the Samsung stuff where a lot of it's done for you. This is more Nexusy, you know, where a lot of stuff is left for you to change and you to update. But Google Contact Management, I forgot how atrocious it was. There's no native Exchange support on it. It's a little bit flaky. I've restarted it a lot. I lose connection to Vodafone quite a bit for some reason, which I didn't in my other phone. It's not amazing. The camera on it as well. I don't use the camera on a phone very often at all, but it looks and feels and reacts very slowly. It again gets blown away by the iPhone stuff. So, you know, it's jury's still out. This is just like an initial unbox and impressions of it. I've got to give it more time. I need to get to grips with it more to get used to it. I feel that when you take on another operating system, you get more annoyed with the things that you're losing than what you're gaining. You only really appreciate it when you go back to it. So switching on the iPhone again the other day was just like a breath of fresh air. To me, it's like the iPhone's like a sort of Mercedes, you know, standard, fairly reasonably good one. Everything's done for you. Yes, you don't have as much freedom. Whereas this is like a Cosworth that's been tuned up to the max. That can probably be much faster and better than this if you knew what you were doing and you tuned it. Whereas this one, you just have a nicer experience with it, generally all the way through. But it is nice. It is good. It's only like 290 quid. This was 700. You know, so you're paying a shitload more for something like this. But if you compare this against the Galaxy S6, for example, a Samsung phone, which is blazingly fast, and it's just nicer, it's just a bit woollier. This is very raw. I think the operating system needs a lot of updates to come out. Now there is another one that's on its way, version 2.1 I think it is, and that's going to add native Exchange support and a few other things. If you've got a dual SIM in your phone, chances are you're going to use one for business, one for home, like most people. If you're working in an office like I do and you've got Microsoft Exchange support and it doesn't have it, you can install Outlook, which I have done, which is alright, but then it merges the contacts in with the Google ones. When you first go into the dialer, it displays everything in alphabetical by surname, even though it's set to forename. You touch a contact and then it reorders it. It just feels rough. And yes, you can get the other dialer, you can get the other gallery, you can get the other launcher. I know you can do all that, but I would have just thought the stock ones should have been a bit more polished. So this is just my initial thoughts. It's by no means a review, but I do need to use it a lot longer and get to grips with it and stop comparing it to what I'm used to and just go back, delve into the Android side of things. I mean, the fingerprint reader is fantastic. The button configuration you can have on screen, or you can swap these two around. The fingerprint scanner, like I say, I've had no problems with it at all. It's just as fast as the one on this one, if you ask me. The dual SIM management, where you can say use one SIM for text, one for data, one for calls, or it'll fall back onto the other SIM if the other one's got no signal. It's really, really good. And the hardware, the actual quality of it, it's really nice. You can hold it in one hand, unlike the iPhone, and actually navigate it. You can reach the corners a lot easier. This is just a bit thicker. Yes, it's got a case on it, but it feels like holding a glass pebble that's just going to fall out your hand and smash, which it did do. I had it for about 2 weeks and smashed it, and I've never smashed any of my phones. So, got to give it a bit more time. I just wanted to get my initial thoughts out there while it's still reasonably new. If you are going to go for it, you get a lot of phone for your money, and you have a lot of options to configure it and make it a fantastic phone. But as it stands, compared to the Samsungs and the other phones out there, you can feel a few £100 difference in it, according to me. But that is just my opinion. So I'm going to shut up now and then give it another week or two and come back with a bit more structured, better filmed, reasonably good review. Okay, so take care now. Bye bye then.